Thanks for the question, sir. See, as you go by the regards, what happened after the Komrum Bey's death, it's really very, very interesting. Means a lot of different self-interested groups involved into it. They try to support goals, took them to courts. They paid money for them, with the courts, and they also got them released from jail. So all these things were not happening. And on the other side, state was also so considerate towards the goals question. There was an understanding like these people are innocent, exploited, evicted from their land by the dominant caste peasants. So because they were evicted from their land by the dominant, they embraced weapon arms. And there was also a kind of propaganda that Komrum Bey actually misled the other courts. I mean, just to please judges in the court, they were trying to make these kinds of appeals. And Ramchandra Rao, a advocate from Assimabad, actually literally pursuing all the cases and going to courts and helping the courts and all these things were not happening. If you see his representation made to government on behalf of the bonds, really, really interesting. Okay, so and at one point, government considered that these are innocent and released them. About 30 people were released from court. And this Hyman-Trapp's intervention is also interesting. I mean, Nizam calls him and ask him to suggest him on this issue and all that. So ultimately, but I see serious problem with Hyman-Trapp in the sense deliberately, maybe deliberately or consciously or unconsciously, I don't know, but he did not distribute any village Patelgiris to goals. He distributed only lands. But they could not again keep that land for long time. The land, about 1 lakh land was distributed by the Hyman-Trapp. But that did not last for long. Because they did not give in power. Power was in the dominant community's hand. They were the Patels. So they were changing the titles of the the lands. So very easily their lands were again taken by the dominant caste peasants. Particularly after merger of Hyderabad, there was a huge migration from Andhra, particularly Mancheriala and all these regions. So they were pushed further and further. But that's what I said. I tried to relate this with the Indra Valley. So Indra Valley incidents is a failure of Hyman-Trapp. Had Hyman-Trapp negotiated for political rights for the Adivasis, like we have district council in northeastern states, the things would have been different. In northeastern states, we have tribal district councils, though there are some problem with the councils, but these councils did protected Adivasi rights. So that kind of mechanism was not done in Hyderabad state. So Nizam, was very considerate when it comes to I work on the Lambada criminal rights implementation case also. There was an understanding. Already it was established in the British India that criminality is by genetic. Okay, criminality was yeah, 18th century kind of debates and all those things. But they send a kind of circular to Nizam government that is there such kind of criminality, criminality in your state. So Nizam government give a reply saying that there are people, all kinds of people, even Brahmins also commit dacoity. We don't have as such. Then, but ultimately, the British government forced the Nizam to pass this, Criminal Tribes Act in this state as well. That is how Eriklas, Korichas, Lambadas were fixed. Okay, and then there was also criminal settlement in Lingala, Mananoon, and there was a reform activities and all kinds of things. Tribunal, yeah, similar act was passed in Hyderabad state in 1894. Okay, so when the state was considered, when the British police, there was an exchange of criminals between the Nizam state and the British. So when the British police come and search for these criminal tribes, Hyderabad the police don't cooperate them, saying that they have a feeling that these are innocent people, so they don't have anything, so definitely they will do that. And there is a tradition from our medieval period, certain groups, nomadic groups, live on dacoity. So this is seen as part of politics. So as a monarch, a monarchical system understands that this is a part of politics. But the British construct it as a criminality. So for Nizam, it is a politics. For British, it is a crime. So that is the kind of understanding, difference in understanding the thing. Also, you could see in the state level bureaucracy. So, there is a difference. There is a relative difference in terms of dealing with the issue, particularly between the British and Hyderabad. That much I can tell you. Relatively also, Hyderabad the state administration relatively liberal. Liberal in the sense now we talk about what you call transparent or effective governance. Effective governance is bad for the low people. We need actually bad governance so that you will have freedom.
Weak governance.
Weak governance. Weak governance. So the local people, you have some freedom. You can theft something because I am feeling hungry, so I should steal something. Otherwise, I will die. Okay, that kind of mechanism should be there at a lower level. So and the state also should consider it. He don't have food, so definitely he will steal. So whereas in British India, the system was so strong. So that is why a lot of people migrate from British India to Hyderabad state. And all these Marwadis from Rajasthan, Maharashtra, they So all these Maratha, Marwadis, Rajasthan, Gujaratis came to Hyderabad because to escape from British taxes in the British India to Hyderabad. A lot of people in the late 18th and 19th century. And coming to Rajesh's question, what is the difference between tribe and Adivasi? I mean, it's basically
It is blend. You are an aeroplane, right? Yeah. I can think it.
okay. So there is nothing like that. I mean, so these communities, the term tribe is constructed by colonial state to describe the forest groups. Okay. The Adivasi term was actually coined by Gandhi's secretary. What is his name? No, sir. The one who stayed from the ashram when No. There is a one.
So you had so many secretaries.
Ah.
You don't have your one.
Okay, actually, Thakkar Baba coins this one somewhere in the 30s. Okay, and that was popularized by Gandhian nationalists. Later on, it was taken up by the Adivasi activists as well, means tribal activists. So the understanding is that no, this the term tribe is so derogatory, this and that, no, that kind of
But
understanding.
in practice, Lambada community claiming as a tribe, and Gond and Koya and other nomadic tribes claiming.
Okay, you're coming in that way. Okay, let me clarify this. Okay, in that sense, tribe is basically now in northeastern state also this is happening. Only central Indian tribes are not claiming themselves as Adivasis, means aboriginal. Okay, if they go to northeast, now this conflict is going on in northeast, Assam. Adivasis, they call the T tribes. Okay, Adivasis and not tribe. So, means in our context, nomadic and this Adivasi, basically Adivasis are not, they are aboriginals, so they are the son of this side. Nomadic tribe are not, these are not the loose groups, living on nomadism for centuries. Settle down very soon. I mean, it's very early in the sense, till 60s, 70s, the Lambada groups were roaming around. In Medak and Nizamabad, still there are some Madura groups now. KCR wanted to include in tribal group. Still mobile. Okay, the women you see with hair is raised like up. Called Singali. So, since these groups are not clubbed in tribal category, definitely they are called tribes as per the constitution. But our Gond and Koya friends' understanding is understandable. So that is there. That difference is there. They are not the original inhabitants. These are groups came from North India largely. It's not again Lambada is not a homogeneous. You have all kinds of people. Okay, you have Madigas, Malas, and all groups, Chamas, Kundis, all kinds of people. Yeah. It's a caste, thin caste.
Sir, నేను అడిగిన ప్రశ్నకు ఒకసారి